Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Gods here. Today I'm going to be teaching you all how to make this header right here. Mainly I'm going to be focusing on the text, not so much on the background, because the background is just clouds, a CC, and butterflies and flowers. But we're mainly going to be focusing on this type of text that I used on this header. And then I'm going to show you guys how I made this CC here. It's actually a CC I got from a layer pack, but I'm going to teach you all how to make your own CCs, because they are very good. CCs are really good. So first I'm just going to get a brush and change the color of this background so that I don't get too much distracted. Alright, so first things first, you gotta make your text. Now, most of the time when I make the text, I use a type of nice looking font that I can use. Now, for this, we're just gonna put tutorial. We're just gonna make it about 24, I guess. Then we're gonna center it. Now, if you don't see these rulers on the side, you can go to View and then Rulers. And then you can find the center of your header, because it will snap there if you go slowly near the center. Now, most of the time whenever I'm doing text like this, I usually single out every letter, but just for time and management purposes, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave the text the way it is. But for this header, I singled out every letter and changed it and moved it, lowered the size. As you can see, the S is bigger. So if you want to do that, you can. And if you go into my folder right here that is text, you can tell that each letter is different than the other. So it's a separate layer. But just for tutorial purposes, I'm not going to do that. And now we're just going to go into, we're actually going to make this black. And now we're going to create the layer style for it. Let's say we want to go with like an orange type of... Let's go with an orange, yeah. That's the color we're going to use. Now you can use any color you want, but I'm just going to use orange. Nah, we're not going to use that. Yeah, 5's fine for that. Yeah, that's fine for the layer style. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to make another layer, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a little pen tool for where we want the text. Now, for this you can make it as wacky, wonky, you know, you can make it however style you want. If you want it to be like straight at the edges, go for it. Most of the time I don't make mine straight at the edges, most of the time I make mine curved, but hey, if you want to make yours sharp at the edges, go for it, man. Alright, there we go. And then we're going to do fill path, and we're going to fill it with black for now. There we go, that's what mine's going to look like. Now from here we're going to make another layer. We're going to put it below it. We're going to select pixels on this one. Now if you want you can retrace it, but this is the way I do it just because I think it's faster and I just think it's easier. And we're going to expand it by, yeah, 15 is fine. And then we're going to use the color that we want, and since we are using an orange, we're going to do an orange. Now for this layer you're going to want it to be a dark color. Okay, that's not really orange, that's more of a brown. That's also more of a brown. Alright, you know what? That's fine. Alright, and then we're going to select this one. We're going to make another one. We're going to go to select, modify, contract by 5. And then we're going to get a brighter color. It's about there. Actually, no, that's a little bit too bright. Now, this one can't be too bright, but it can't be too dark either. Alright, that's fine. And then now we get a bright one. Or not a really bright one, but a bright one. Then we're going to do select pixels again. We're going to select, modify, contract again by 8. Okay, no, not 8. We're going to do 5 again. And then we're going to select the layer and then fill that one in. And as you can see, you can tell what we're kind of going for. And now we're going to go on to this layer style. We're going to choose outer glow, and then we're going to use a color dodge. Let's turn the opacity all the way up for now. And then we're going to use about 3 or 4 for it. It's a matter of preference. You can even go up to 5. And then we're going to turn the opacity to about like 75 to 85. It really just depends on your matter of preference. And now you can see we're getting that little bevel that you saw on the other text. And then if you really want to, you can add a gradient, soft light. I usually, whenever I do gradients like this, I would go with like a soft light on that one, and as you can tell, it gives you that little effect. No, there you go. I'm actually going to use the soft light, but I'm going to turn the opacity down to about 50. Alright, and then for this one, you don't really want a layer style on it. If you want, you can add one, but it's really up to you. I'm not going to add one because I don't really need one. I'm actually going to change this outer glow to about 90. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now for this bottom layer, all the way down here, you're going to move it down a little bit. And we're going to bring in these edges. We're going to bring it up. And then we're going to bring that down. Now what we're going to do with these is we're going to actually clipping mask them on. And now we have more range of where we want them to be. As you can see, you can just change them around to fit however you want. And it's really not going to stop you. If you wanted to have it at an angle, you can. But remember that it's going to move that with it, you see. Usually I like to have mine hanging down a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. And then we're going to add a drop shadow on that bottom layer just to add some distinctness to it. We'll make it about 15 and then 5. And then there we go, we got that going. And now for this piece, typically I would just go do color overlay and then you know, get one of these colors and then just make it darker. Say that color's fine. Alright, and now we go into how we got the 3D portion of this. Now if you want, you can take way more time on your bevel. I'm just doing it because it's a tutorial and I don't want to take too much of your time because we're already at about 10 minutes. Alright, so now we got our tutorial copy, and what we're going to do is we're going to rasterize it and then Where is it at? New 3D extrusion from selected layer. Actually, let me take off this layer style real quick. Alright, there we go. And what it's going to do is it's going to put us into the 3D version of Photoshop. Now for this, you can have the 3D extrusion going down, going up, turn off infinite light. So you can have it going down like this, going up, or you could have it centered. I think for this tutorial we're going to have it going up. About right there is fine for me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to layers, we're going to go to rasterize 3D, and then I'm going to go back to my essentials, and then we're just going to line this up with our text. Alright, there we go. That's about lined up for me. And I'm actually going to move this one up. There we go. Actually, there we go. And now for this, what we're going to do is we're going to select it, and as you can see, it's a bit blocky there and I don't like it. So what I always do is I go to select pixels, and then I go to select modify feather by 1, and then I do Control J to duplicate that, and then I delete that one. And as you can see, it's not as blocky anymore. It's still a little bit blocky, but not as blocky. And whenever you're zoomed out, nobody can notice it. So now we're gonna go to blending options, and we are going to color overlay and make this a dark orange. About right there is good for me. And then I'm going to do inner glow, and I'm going to make this 10, and then I'm going to put the opacity, well, never mind, it's already at 50, so I'm actually going to put this at about 8 is good for me. And then we're going to add a drop shadow to this one as well, but this one's just going to be 5 and 10. And then we're going to put this as a clipping mask, or not, wait, well, we got to rasterize this one first, as a clipping mask. Now you don't have to have this as a clipping mask, it's just going to put this in the border of this. If you don't want a clipping mask, you can always just, let my music stop, there we go. Let me just, I'll play this one. Alright, all it's going to do is it's going to put it in the border of that bevel. You don't have to have it on the border, you can just have it clipping out like I did on this header. As you can see, it's clipping out of the bottom. And I'm actually going to use the same textures that I used on this one. I used a lighting, and then I used the texture, and all this did was go on top of the folder. Well, I have that one. Oh yeah. Alright, so we're just gonna get rid of those real quick. We're gonna figure out where this lighting one's at. And we're gonna center it there. Now, all I did for that lighting is use a brush tool and just brush across. Honestly, I didn't do anything insane. And for the texture, I just found where I liked it, and then did this, select pixels, and then Control X to get rid of it, and then I just had it just only on that bottom part because I didn't like it on top of the layer. And we gotta rasterize that, there we go. And then if you want, you can even lower the opacity. Right now it's on overlay at 50%, but we're gonna put it on 35. And then there we go, we got the texture of that part. Now for the texturing on the bevel. The texturing on the bevel needs to be pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, because that's where it comes in. For most of the time, I usually just get this layer, I duplicate it, I clear the layer style so now it's just black, and then I go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Make sure to rasterize it. And then I blur it by about 3. And then what I do is I take it down to the bevel, I expand it, that's good, and then I do create clipping mask and then lower the opacity to about 75. Actually no, that's about 50. Lower it to about 50. And then what I do is create another clipping mask with another layer, and then I use the pen tool to just pen tool out lines like this. Now if you want, you can take more time and you don't have to blur out the text layer. You can actually use like a brush tool, a black brush, and just do this, but due to time purposes I'm going to take very little time on this and let you guys do it yourself. Now you can also turn it on soft light to give it different effects. You know, creativity runs wild, but I'm just going to use normal and go about 50%. And then now most of the time you're going to want to just pen tool each item out, but just for this I'm just going to duplicate it and move it around. Alright, there we go everybody. So right there is what it's like getting the textures. Now when it comes to those, you can also put a texture on the bevel. I believe I did on this one. Yes, I did. So you get these textures and then you bring them over and then you find the sweet spot that you like for it and you do a create clipping mask, and then you got a texture right there on it. And some of these textures actually make it brighter and look better. Like this one makes it a little bit brighter, but it makes it look good as well. And then from here you're pretty much done. You can take way longer on it though if you want it to look nicer. Since this one was pretty rushed because of a tutorial, I don't want to take up too much time because we're already around 19 minutes. Now for the background, all I did was get some clouds and then a CC and all that. Alright, now I guess I'll teach you guys how to make the CC because I did say I was going to. So we're just going to put this as CC, and all we're going to do is add curves. And now for the curves, right now this is just regular RGB. I would recommend using like different colors. Like for RGB I'm just going to do a slight S, and then I'm going to go to red. And let's say I want my red a little bit more vivid. We're gonna bring it up a little. For green, we're gonna drop it. No, we're not. We're gonna actually rise green up a little bit as well. This takes a lot of playing around to do to find where you like it. Alright, and then we're going to add exposure. Exposure is going to make it really bright and everything. So we're going to put it at about 0.7. Now offset's going to make it white or dark, depending on it. And for offset we want to have it, let's just have it at 0. Gamma correction is going to make it bright as well or make it dark. Gamma correction we're going to have it at, let's go a bit down. Let's go to about 0.80. And then for this we're going to go to vibrance. Vibrance will change the colors, make it more vivid. We're going to put it at about 30. Take time on your CCs as well. We're going to put this at about 15. Now you can do CCs however way you want. There's no really... Now for hue and saturation, this is usually if you want to change the color, you'll choose colorize. Now this will change the color of everything though, so you got to be careful with this. Now if you don't want to change the color of everything, you can just move these and it will change the colors of select few of things. As you can see, it's changed my text and all that from orange to like red, purple, blue. It's a nice purple, I like that. and then you can change the hue and saturation, etc. Alright, so we actually don't need that. Now, if you want, you can also add a photo filter, which will make it warmer, darker. You can change the density of it. And let's have mine a little bit warm at about a 25% chance. And you can change it to a cooling filter. You can change it to a red filter. You can change it to a lot of things. We're going to have mine on a warming filter at about 25%. Now for color balance, you can also make the balance of the colors a little bit different if you want. For CCs, there's really no limit that you have. You can do a lot of things with CCs. So that's pretty much the end of the tutorial. Now, if you guys really want me to show you how to do the background, I'll do that in another tutorial, but all I did was get clouds and then butterflies, blur this one out, get flowers and stalks and stuff, and just put them on here. That's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this tutorial. Let me know if you want to see more tutorials by me. Now, my links will be down in the description if you want to go check them out. And if you make a header using this design, tweet it at me. I will retweet it, and I will let you know what I think of it. So thank you all for coming by and watching this. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day.